Today we're going to be talking about the layers of skin. First, we're going to be talking about the epidermis layer. The epidermis is the first top layer. So the skin is like an armor. It's a free armor, and you're wearing it right now. So the armor protects from bacteria entering inside. These armor is nothing but dead skin cells. The first part of epidermis makes new cells. Right here, when they go up, they turn into keratin. And keratin is soft for your hair and it's hard like your nails. So when they reach the top layer, they're really hard and then they die. The skin cells are created in the lower epidermis layer, so right here, and then when they come up, they're filled with keratin, and then they go up on top of the skin to be armor. So it takes total 2 weeks for them to come up and 2 weeks for them to die. So total of 4 weeks. It takes them 2 weeks to come up and 2 weeks to shed. There's some cells that make melanin. So melanin is made by melanocytes. So melanin is your skin color. Melanin also gives people their color. So the more melanin, the more darker you are, and the less melanin, the more lighter you are. And melanin absorbs sunlight and makes vitamin D for your body. So everybody has the same amount of melanocytes, but the amount of melanin produced is from people to people. Changes. Okay, now we're gonna go even deeper to the dermis layer. The dermis layer is the middle layer and is one of the largest layer. So the dermis layer is thick in your feet and it's thin in your eyelids. So in the dermis layer, there are hair follicles. The hair follicles are from dermis all the way to epidermis. So when it grows here, it's called hair shaft, and when it is still here, it's called hair follicle. Towards the hair follicle, there is another muscle called the erectopili muscle. So the erectopili muscle, whenever you're scared, cold, or listen to really loud music, your hair goes straight. Like it's like this, goes straight. It stands up because if it's chilly outside, it's making your body warm. That's why it's standing up. Okay, now we're gonna go to the sweat glands. So you see these tiny holes. Have you ever wondered these tiny holes in your skin? Well, that's what the sweat glands is. Whenever you run like a marathon, there's sweat on you, and that's where the sweat comes from. It's called sweat pores. So sweat doesn't smell, and only smells when skin bacteria come into the sweat. So whenever you run, you're sweating, right? It cools you while you run. That is sweat. Sweat has salt and water in it. Okay, now we're gonna go to the oil gland. So the oil gland is also in the dermis layer. So the oil gland makes your skin smooth and not dry. So that is the oil gland. Okay, now we're gonna go to the blood vessels. The red one is not pure blood and the blue one is pure blood. Whenever you like lift weights, the red and the blue one are like grow bigger, trying to get cool. Whenever it's cold at night and you walk, they shrink. They get as much warmth as they can. So these blood vessels also provide nutrients to our skin. So the two blood vessels we have is arteries and veins. Now we're gonna go to the sensory nerve endings in the dermis layer. So do not touch the sensory nerve endings. So the sensory nerve ending record the slightest of touch. And they send signal to the brain. And they both decide, like whenever you get tickled, you will laugh. If you tickle yourself, well, you won't laugh because the brain knows that you're gonna tickle yourself. So the brain does not react. But when somebody tickles you, the brain reacts a lot. So whenever somebody touches you, the sensory nerve endings will send signal to the brain. It's in the dermis layer and it's really long. So the dermis layer is filled with collagen and elastic protein. Collagen is making your skin really strong, and elastic is making your skin flexible like this. Now we're gonna go to the hypodermis layer. So in the hypodermis layer, there's lots of fat. The fat is used to, is like a cushion to your muscle and your organs. It's like a protection. So in all of these layers, there are guardians that protect your skin from bacteria. They're called immunity warriors. So in the hypodermis, the fat is like a cushion. Fat controls your appetite. Let's just say you ate like 8 slices of pizza. It's not your stomach that's actually full. The fat tells the brain, and the brain makes an alarm saying that it's full. So the fat controls your appetite. Whenever you're hungry, you use that fat as a fuel. And below that is the muscle. Did you know that skin is the largest organ in the human body? And it is 15% of the human body's weight. This is a 3D diorama of the skin. Look at all the parts. Yeah. Hair follicle, this is the oil gland. The sweat glands, this is the oil gland. This is melanocytes. These are the this is hair shaft, and this is the nerve touch. This is a fat, and this is the muscle. This right here is the epidermis. This huge thing is the dermis, and the fat is the hypodermis. So the dermis is the largest layer in the whole entire skin. A fact is that the fat is super greasy and wet. The dermis is slippery and wet. So the lower layer of epidermis is soft. Skin cells are created here due to the mitosis process. So in conclusion, skin is like armor. It protects us from bad bacteria, and it's waterproof. Protects us from sun rays, and it repairs ourselves when it gets scratched.